look at that. Larry, want to press Larry's there, Peter?
There we go. 12%.
Yeah, perfect. We're in business. We did it. So far, so good. Well, good evening, everyone. Bang that. I usually don't have that in front of me. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the tonight's meeting. I'll call the Financial Services meeting to order. So thank you for your patience in getting started tonight. As you're well aware, we have our new mic system in with us this evening. So when you come in every week, you can sign in, and that will help, I guess, get the meeting started, but also we'll be able to see help with speaking order and also help with your voting. Something else before we get started, I'd like to draw attention to our ad hoc litter awareness committee's signs at the back of our council chambers this evening. As you see, we have our 4 signs up. We had a great, unveiling reception last Thursday night, and thank you to all the councillors around the table that came. We really appreciate your support. We had a great turnout, and we're pretty excited. So make sure if you haven't gotten your locations into Adam, you can do that as soon as possible so we can get these signs around our communities. All right, so like I said, we'll call this meeting to order. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kmaq, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. First, I need the approval of tonight's agenda. Moved by Councillor Boyles. Seconded by Councillor Turner. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded. Oh, did you have something? Okay.
I thought we had a vote on here.
Oh, we do have a vote on that. Do I know vote on that? Sorry. So, I did that right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry, everybody. I'll say that again. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Motion carried. Okay, so we will only vote, just for clarification, when we have an agenda item. Is that what we'll say? Something that requires approval? The substantial motion, not for every motion. Okay. Okay. Any emergency resolutions this evening? Majority consent required. Any emergency resolutions this evening? Oh, yes. I wasn't looking for that, but I will now. Okay. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Robert. Go ahead.
When I start speaking to it, or no, that turns red. Okay. So a couple of months ago, I brought up under emergency resolutions about strong powers, I think they're called, for the mayor. And at that time, we said, well, we want to wait until NSFM does their survey. Well, the results of the survey come out today, and I want to bring that up on the agenda somewhere, because of the reason I'm bringing it up under emergency, because the legislature meets next week, and it's strongly anticipated that that matter is going to come up, and if we leave it till our next meeting, it'll be too late. We'll be talking about something that's already been done.
Okay. We'll vote on this? Or just agreement? Agreement? Okay, so is there agreement that this is added to the agenda for tonight's meeting? Agreed? Anyone not in agreement? Okay, we'll add that in. Let's add that in 8.3. Mayoral powers. Okay. Any other emergency resolutions? All right, seeing none, we'll move along. Next, we have the minutes for August 18th, 2025. Any errors, omissions, corrections to the minutes? Seeing any errors, omissions, corrections to the minutes? I'm getting really bad feedback. Okay, thank you. Any errors, omissions, corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, we'll consider those minutes approved. Okay, reports not requiring a motion. First, we have the communications report for the month of August. Any questions or comments on the communications report for the month of August? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to recreation. Any questions, comments on the recreation report for the month of August? Okay, seeing none, warden's report, month of August. Questions or comments for the warden? Go ahead, Councillor McDonald. You gotta, we gotta,
Okay. Just wondering about the Viola's Place meeting there.
the official announcement for Viola's, oh. Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, so I think the one referring to, trying to find his number, right down near the bottom, the official announcement. See, that's for Viola's Way, which is different than Viola's Place. Viola's Way is a street between Groveville and Archimedes. And if you look when you drive down there by now, they have an excavator in there, it's all tore to pieces. So they're putting something newer and more up to date, adding more things to it, I think, for Viola's Way. But it does get confused by a lot of people that, you know, because it's Viola's Place just up the roadway. And that's what the announcement is.
Okay. Councillor Palmer.
Yeah, you still have to do that. Shut your mics off and then the next.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just wondering what the meeting with Staff Sergeant Curtis McKinnon was about.
Okay, I'm on now. The Staff Sergeant McKinnon, that was mostly about the little ones that got lost. There's so many people still asking questions, so I requested a meeting to get up-to-date information if it's talking to the media or to individuals. Everybody wants more information, but at some point there is no new information. If you know, if there is, I'm sure they'll quickly announce it, but people are hungry for more information and it's simply not there.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I can turn my.
We'll get used to it.
Yeah.
The other thing was, you met with Sean Fraser about the upcoming budget. Is there any good news in that budget, or?
We discussed a number of factors with a number of facts, you know, we certainly discussed the internet project and he wanted to know how it was coming and he was glad to hear it was getting down his mom and dad's way, Mary Mish. But in terms of the upcoming budget, one thing he did bring up with us that there, obviously you hear it on TV now, there's going to be a lot of money spent on defense. And so that's a lot of new expenditures, and he thinks if we watch closely, there'll be ways that maybe that Pictou County can benefit from that, whether some of the steelwork type business we have, whatever, by joining in with some of what's in Halifax or Dartmouth, that he thinks if we play our cards right, we can take advantage of some of that increased spending on defense. He talked about the Pictou County Partnership some, you know, that we need to maybe more focus on, they do a great job of, you know, looking after a lot of our smaller businesses and are trying to get more employees here and whatnot, but more looking for larger initiatives. So those, he thinks that some of the stuff that's coming out of the budget, you know, if we watch closely, that perhaps we can get some bigger increase in employment here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Bailey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just on the, where the meeting was hosted on future use of Valley View, there was just you and the Deputy Warden CEO. Is that not a full discussion for council as to the future use of this instead of, I don't think we should be making, decisions and then, or decisions and then taking them to council from that meeting.
And I fully agree with you, Councillor Bailey, and that's what we decided at the meeting. It was the people that are operating Valley-View-Ville now were putting forth what their ideas were to see if we were totally offside with them, and there's no sense coming to council with them. But the idea coming out of that, or either Brian or Wayne could back me up on this, but was for them to come to full council, for sure.
Okay. Okay, seeing no more comments or questions, we'll move along. Internet report for the month of August. Questions or comment on the internet report? Okay, seeing none, we'll move along. Tax receivable report. As you see, this is to the end of August with a collection of almost 44%. So taxes are due next month, October 15th. I'll have a better idea, I guess, in November where we sit. Questions or comments? Go ahead, Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, I was just wondering, ran into a situation the other day where a fellow was called and asked about taxes on a certain piece of land that he wanted to buy, and there's not even a PIB to it, and there's no taxes being paid on or nothing, and he told me he ran into 5 of them, that there's no PIB, and I was just wondering, we should be looking into finding out why these pieces of land don't have PIB numbers and no taxes being paid on it.
I know that usually when a section of land gets subdivided until the next tax year, they usually don't have a PID. Are these older pieces of land, Peter?
Trying to get it, but it's been there for, well, it's out on the Bowden Road, and I think there's like 15 acres or something, and it's been there I talked to Karen and she's looking into it, but I mean, there's other ones too, they said. I was just wondering how many pieces of land out there that don't have a PIB that we're not getting nothing for, right?
Okay. All right, well, thank you for bringing that forward, and I'm glad Karen's looking into it. Okay. We'll move along to our deed transfer tax report. As you can see, we had another large month here in the county. Lots of real estate being sold. Questions or comments on the deed transfer tax report? I'm still looking around. I look at my screen. Okay. Yep, okay, perfect. Okay, we'll move on, and we'll move along to reports requiring a motion. First, we have our accounts paid for the month of August 2025. Can I have a motion, please, councillors? Moved by Councillor Palmer. Seconded by Councillor Bailey. Any questions or comments on that? Yes. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just curious as to why the July Pictou Island garbage pickup, I guess, is over $12,000. Is that a typical cost for that? And if it is a typical cost for that, why is the cost, what's included in that cost, I guess?
That is one of the first runs that Pictou Island has every year for their garbage and their recycling run. There's at least two runs a year, and they chartered a boat to go over and pick up the garbage from Pictou Island, take it over to the landfill site, along with the recycling.
That's tipping fees included in that 12. No, it's not. Okay. Any other questions or comments on the accounts paid for the month of August? All right, everyone, we're going to practice our voting on this one. so I'll open voting now. Is that what I say? Voting's open? I'll have to get a thing to say. Okay, we're still waiting on the last one. So, motion is carried. Okay.
That's what it looks like.
Yes. Okay, so that's what you'll see. Okay. And it shows, does it show, and it shows on your screen as well too. Yeah. Okay, everyone, we're gonna get this. All right, next we have the internet accounts paid for the month of August 2025. Can I have a motion, please? Moved by Warden Parker. Seconded by Councillor Turner. Any questions on the internet accounts paid for the month of August? How do I get this off my screen? Oh, you have to clear it. So how do I see if anybody wants to talk? I don't have any. Sorry, everybody. Okay, so there's no questions or comments on internet paid for the month of August. All right, we'll call for the vote. Voting's open. Missing one. Okay, motion carried. All right, we'll move along to our business items. First, we have District 3 Municipal Service Grants. We have Pictou Island Community Association, $4,910 for upgrades windows in the community center. And also the Caribou River Community Hall has requested an AED battery for $507 for a grand total of $5,480. Moved by Councillor Palmer. Seconded by Deputy Warden Murray. Do we vote again, or can I just say all those in favor? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Okay, thank you, Councillor Palmer. District 7 Municipal Service Grants. We have Middle River Presbyterian Church in the amount of $4,345 for an accessibility ramp. Okay, moved by Councillor Parker. Seconded by, sorry, Ronnie, I'm trying to think, having a blank there, trying to think your last name. I know, I'm so sorry. Seconded by Councillor Bailey. I was gonna say, seconded by Councillor, Ronnie. Yes, okay, so it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. My apologies, Councillor Bailey. Okay, next we have District 2, Little Harbour Community Center, request for extension for the council grant for kitchen renovations. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Wadden.
Thank you. I was just wondering if I could make a motion to grant the request for the extension, and once I have a seconder for it, I can speak to the motion. Thank you.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Palmer. Go ahead.
I was speaking with Debbie McIntosh, and she's the president of the community center, and Mr. Farron is the member on the grant committee. In any case, the grants they had applied for, they didn't come through so far for them, but they have applied for another one, and that ends this coming Wednesday. In the meantime, they also have a request into the air flight engineers, and they've already been told that it's a really good project for them, so that would make a huge amount of savings in the wages. So they're trying to move forward. They do plan on doing the extensions, but they need some more time because they'll have to get contractors and this sort of thing, so that's why they're requesting the extension.
Okay. All right, so we've heard the request. Is there any questions or comments for Councillor Wadden on the request? It's great that they have the AEF wanting to come in and help and their interest. Wonderful. That's great news to hear. Councillor Boyles, you've mentioned that many times to get them involved in our projects. All right. Seeing no comments or questions, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Okay, next we have 8.3, the mayoral powers brought forward tonight by Warden Parker. Off my game tonight.
You got red, so I'm on now. Okay. So I brought this up, I don't know, it was 2 or 3 months ago, under emergency resolutions then, and because NSFM had decided that they would do a survey, the discussion around the table was to wait till the survey was done before we sent a letter. So the strong mayor powers, just to remind everybody, have been requested by the mayor of HRM, and it looks highly likely, from anything I'm hearing, that they'll probably be approved when the legislature meets. So I think it's a dangerous move on democracy and also on our municipal governments. All of a sudden, one person has a lot more power at the table than anybody else. If that were true here, now we don't have a mayor system, but if it were true, you only need 3 or 4 people with you to carry a decision. You don't need a majority anymore. That the mayor, in that case in HRM, will be able to carry the day with only about a third of the councillors with them. So it takes away the voting powers of the rest of the council. The rest of the council's wondering, what are we here for? Because the mayor can move ahead with the support of 3 or 4 of their councillors. And on top of that, the mayor can come in and fire the CAO or anybody else he wants to. And that's not the way it works now. It has to go through council. So it very much limits the powers of the rest of the council. And there's things in there about budget as well. Oops. All right. There's things in there about budget that if the mayor wants to change the budget, then he can do that, he or she. So it really is a strike against democracy. Even in our legislature, you know, our premier has 1 vote. And in the parliament, the prime minister has 1 vote. And if they don't have half of the body, whether it be the legislature or the parliament, with them, that motion is dead. But the way this is going to work is not dead. Whatever the person in the position of the mayor, and we can say, well, that's just HRM. You know, maybe it's just them, or maybe it's just the regional. But sooner or later, it generally gets to the rest of us. And NSFM right now, in what they sent out today, they said there was a strong disagreement, I guess it was, for the strong mayor powers. There was they had about a third of the councils or councillors vote on it, and so they're going to let the legislature know. But we have other municipalities now that have written on their own to the government in the province, saying this is not a good idea. And so I'm suggesting that, or making a motion, that we write a letter to the Minister of Municipal Affairs, John Lohr, and to the Premier, strongly suggesting that this is not the right path to go down for all the municipalities in Nova Scotia. And I look for a seconder for that motion.
Okay, it's been moved by Warden Parker and seconded by Councillor Boyles. All right, I'll open the floor up to discussion. Any comments or questions on that? Go ahead, Councillor Boyles.
No, I can understand, the warden's thought on it, and my thought goes to the people who fought for this country and went over and fought for us to have a democratic country, and this sort of trying to take all that away. I mean, I'm really surprised even the Premier would allow this even to happen with his father being a military man, so I'm totally against it. I think that, democracy should rule. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Boyles. Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can you fill us in on the results of the NSFM survey? Could you give us the percentage of people that voted against the strong mayor powers? Was that sent to us, by the way?
Yeah. Came out today from NSFM communications, I think is what it was. There was 119 people responded out of three. Yeah, so we'll say a third responded, and I think it said the majority or strong majority were against.
It didn't give a percentage, it's just a strong majority?
Yeah.
Is that what it said? Can you speak to that, Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, I don't have the results in front of me, but there was a number, I don't know, did everybody here fill out the questionnaire? Okay, because like, I'm a little disappointed, only a third of elected officials, when you have an opportunity to vote on something or we complain about voter turnout, and we only get a third of our members responding to a survey. Yeah, it was strongly opposed to it, but there's going to be an information session, I believe, is what was put in that communication today, wasn't it?
Yes, it said we're hosting an online session on Monday, September 29th at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
to review the prospective bylaw changes with the membership. Please note this is the first of two information.
Say that again?
That's not the same, there haven't been changes in the bylaw.
Yes.
Oh, that's the governance survey?
Oh, there's a letter there associated with it.
How to do with this survey.
Oh. Okay, well, it doesn't say anything. I can read the letter.
Yeah, read the letter. I think that'd be helpful for
'Kay.
anybody watching online as
'Kay.
well.
Says, so this was dated September 15th regarding municipal government survey delivered via email. Dear members, I'm writing to thank you for your participation in our recent municipal governance survey. NSFM has been very active in engaging members on this important issue. The survey on this matter was distributed to you August 1st with a timeline to complete by August 13th. NSFM received 119 replies to the survey, which is a response from approximately 1/3 of elected municipal leaders in Nova Scotia. In addition, a large number of comments were submitted, which required some analysis. On behalf of the board, I want to share that the results demonstrate a very clear lack of support for a strong mayoral powers model in this province. The results continue to be analyzed, including the many comments. The province will be advised of the survey results as well, so they are aware of where our membership stands on this issue. We can commit that a comprehensive review will be completed in time for the NSFM Fall Conference in November. Thanks again for your input, which is always very valuable. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact us at info@nsfm.ca. Sincerely, Pam Mood, President for Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities. Okay, so do you want to do a follow-up to that, Councillor Thompson? Oh, so go ahead, Councillor Turner.
Thank you. So I read from this that this is going to be discussed at NSFM. It'll be brought forward to the membership there, and there'll be direction given to, or there'll be a result from the membership at NSFM for the board to give direction to the legislature. Is that process?
I don't know if there's anything. It just says that they're going to give a review of it at the fall conference. It doesn't say where it's going or what they're doing with that information.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Thompson.
Thank you. So I guess I'd like to say that the NSFM is a lobbying body for municipal government, and they're in discussions with the provincial government on this issue, along with other issues as well, but sometimes those things need to be lobbied and not lobbed through a letter sort of thing. So I'd like to wait until September 29th before I make pass judgment on anything. We don't even know at this point if there's legislation written and ready to go before the legislature on this. And so we're reacting to a hypothetical. And I'd like to wait to hear more from what the legislature's going to do before I can provide any opinion on this.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Thompson. Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I strongly support the motion. We send a letter. The house is gonna sit before NSFM ever goes in there, and it'll be decided by that time. So I support sending a letter and telling them we don't need superpowers for the mayor, because that will work its way down eventually. If they give it to Halifax, eventually it'll get to us. And I don't believe in that. I believe the system should be equal for everybody and not one person has superpowers. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. I just have a quick point of clarification. This online information session that is being held on Monday, September 29th at 4 p.m. to review the prospective bylaw changes with the membership. Okay, and that's all that we'll be discussing at that. They won't be discussing any other things. Okay, now I just wanted to make that very clear because that email is kind of misleading on that. Okay, my apologies. Go ahead, Warden Parker.
Okay, it's read. That is my point, that the reason this is an emergency is it will be too late come November when we gather. We can talk all about how we don't like it by that time, but it's already in fact. The strong, any indication I'm getting from media or otherwise, is that this is being asked for by the mayor of HRM, and he probably will get it. And so we can decry it all we want later, but NSFM said they were going to be more nimble, was a year ago or whatever. Well, to be nimble, you got to react in a hurry. You got to react quickly, and they're not reacting quickly. And I don't think that the AMANS is in favor of this neither. But they're being removed from NSFM if these bylaw changes go through, I believe. So maybe they don't count anymore. But other municipalities aren't waiting. I know Cumberland for sure, and I'm quite sure, I'm not sure which other one, but there's at least 2 or 3 that have already, if the government only hears from NSFM, okay, thank you very much. But if they hear from NSFM and as many councils as possible, then maybe it has more effect to at least slow this down, so that maybe then in November, if we're talking about it's not a done deal. But if we just say, well, it's not a done deal yet, we don't want to say anything till it's a done deal, I think we're too late. And that's what I thought the last time, but I did agree with the fact that we'd wait to see what the survey was like. Well, actually 1/3, I don't know what our people in here expect from a survey, but a lot of times if you get 1/3 on a survey, it's pretty darn good. A lot of times you get 10% or 15% on a survey. People are busy and a lot of times just don't bother filling them out. So I think there is, and NSFM is saying that they know there's strong opposition to this. So if we don't let the government know that there's strong opposition, it'll be too late. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Councillor McDonald.
Yes, I support the motion too. I also think that we should CC our other members of the legislature in our area, and for sure, I mean, if we let it go by the legislature now, it's not going to mean nothing if it passes during the legislature. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there anybody else wants to speak before I circle around? Okay, go ahead, Councillor Thompson.
Yes, I just want to clarify a couple things. From the warden's comments, it sounds like the NSFM is not doing anything. I can tell you that that's not the case. We're having another board meeting on October 3rd, and we've had other discussions about this very topic. And just because you're not hearing about it in the newspapers doesn't mean we're not doing anything. It's sometimes politics and lobbying doesn't happen in public. So I'll just leave it at that. But I'll wait to hear more from the provincial government on their intentions at this legislative session. And I would say if it's an emergency for us to debate whether strong mayor powers are required for a like if we were to voice our dissent about strong mayor powers, we don't even have any skin in the game because we have a warden system. So, and that comment's been made to me by more than one person. So it's puzzling, but I would just like to say that the NSFM is doing stuff. It's just not in the newspapers.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Thompson. Is there any other final comments or questions? Okay, so we'll do one of these. We'll use our voting system. Okay, and voting is now open. Do you want to say the motion again? That we send a letter to NSFM regarding, to the minister. Go ahead, yeah. To the provincial government about the being against the proposed mayoral powers. Okay? About sending a letter. Okay? So motion carried, 10 for and 2 against. Okay. Okay. We'll move on. Is there any deferred business this evening? Okay, seeing none. Any motions of reconsideration? Before I adjourn the meeting, I'd just like to thank everyone. It was a very different meeting for me sitting here and trying to run and used to looking around and seeing hands and writing down names. So thank you for your patience, and I will now adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
Clear when you speak right into the mic. Like, so if you talk directly into the mic, it seems to be clear for people online. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be.
I can't turn mine off then.
Is that Peter or Chester? Did you push the button?
It's Andy.
And okay. Okay, here we go. I'd like to call the proper service meeting to order. First, I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we're in Mi'kmaq, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Next is approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Boyles. Second by Councillor Turner. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Count by nay. Motion carried. Is there any emergency resolutions? Is there any emergency resolutions? One more time. Any emergency resolution? Seeing none, we'll move on. Next is the errors, omissions, corrections to the minutes of August 18th, 2025. Is there any errors or omissions or corrections? Any errors or omissions, corrections? One more time. Any errors, omissions, corrections? Seeing none, we'll consider those minutes approved. Next are the minutes of August 18th, 2025. It's not 10:15, or else we're going back in time, but it's in camera. So, is there any errors, omissions, or corrections to those minutes? Any errors, omissions, corrections to those minutes? And one more time, any errors or corrections to those minutes? Seeing none, we'll consider those approved. Next are reports not requiring a motion. First is the Director of Public Works and Development. Is there any questions for the okay. Warden Parker.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Since Mr. McDowell wasn't with us last month, there's kind of a build-up of questions here, but I did want to ask about Blue Acres sidewalks lighting. So I did bring up when you weren't here, Mr. McDowell, about you know, an RFP rather than tenders. And I'd like to know where that's at right now in terms of, has the RFP gone out, or what are we requesting?
Thank you. We're just finalizing the text in the RFP right now, so we expect to have that out this week.
So if I could, through you, Mr. Chair, is the RFP for what? For overall lighting, or for these crosswalk lighting, or what are we calling for, or asking for?
It is for the street lighting, so the overall lighting, but also included is the design for the crosswalk lighting.
So both of them are in there?
Yeah.
Okay, and if I could, Mr. Chair, could I move on to a second one?
Yes, go ahead.
So I'll find it here. The Green Hill Estates subdivision, it just says we're continuing to wait. There seems to be work going on there all the time when I drive by. Is it just stagnating, or what direction is it going, you know? It's been on there for over a year, I think.
Yeah, we haven't had any further updates since the previous report for the last month. The work that continues ongoing, I would imagine, is related to likely the construction of buildings that are on the lots that are currently subdivided. The applicant, their consultant, had contacted me about a month and a half ago looking to revise their proposal, their subdivision application. So the indication that they've given is that they're changing what they had first applied for to something that wouldn't require the road and wouldn't require a servicing agreement, but they haven't come back with a proposal on that. So we're taking any calls or emails when they send it to us, but they're working on changing their application.
Okay, it just seems like it drags on for a long time, I guess, but I'm not sure whose fault that is. And I have one more, and it's on the flow meters for Eric. We've been promising them, promising shared services at each meeting that we're going to have those in soon, and we are paying quite a bit additional dollars because they're estimating what both Brian and I figure numbers are way too high of what our actual usage of that system is. But until we get those flow meters in, we can't prove that, and so we continue to pay that money. I notice in here the months now have gone to September and October, I think, and that's for the first 4, or is that for all of them?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we have made good progress with Tappers, who's our contractor, for the first 4 especially. So they had ordered the large diameter manholes for those 4. So those were going to be shipped within the next 2 weeks, hopefully within the next week, actually, from what they told me. And then those will be installed. And then what we're looking to do is see if we can add the work for the other 3 flow meters, the mag meters, to that contract. So, and that equipment has arrived. So we've received that equipment. and that's ready to get installed as well. So we're focusing on the first 4, but we expect to go right into the next 3 and have all 7 installed sometime in October, and then be up and running.
That will be all that we require, is 7.
Correct.
Because we do need to get that done so we can stop paying, what we feel is overpaying, but we got no proof of it until we have those flow meters in. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Councillor Bailey.
Press it again. I shut you off, I think.
There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Logan, on our last month's report, on the month of July report, there was a number of these here going out for tender. And I can't really tell how many of them was, but I think there was some went out. But now there seems to be competing priorities. What are the competing priorities now that wouldn't be there in July or June or prior to that?
Thanks for the question. Yeah, we're just trying to revise the report to give more realistic expectations on the timeframes. So we've been dealing with a lot of priorities and getting a lot done, especially as our staffing levels have returned, with some people coming back. But we've had to focus on certain things to try to get certain projects advanced. But that's just sort of where we're at right now. We're trying to get things pushed through, but trying to get everything here advanced as quickly as possible.
Okay. Anybody else? Seeing nobody else? Just want to pass along that the Culver McCollum's Brook water project has been finally approved today, so hopefully in the near future, the contractor SW Weeks will be starting, so that is good news. So we'll move on to emergency services report. Not see any questions. Next is the fire inspection report. Move on. Next is the building officials report. Okay. No questions on that either. Just 1 second here. Okay. The bylaw officers report. Any questions? Not seeing none? Oh, Councillor Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just going through these, and I mean, it's hard to read because of the printing so small, but is there no unsightly properties being looked at in the municipality? Doesn't look to be there unless I'm missing it.
Does any councillors have any in?
Well, yeah, this is a question, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'll be surprised if there's none in.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It could just be the way the report was put out, how we picked up on
One area.
category, right?
Yeah. Okay. Warden Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Councillor Bailey reminded me of, it hasn't been put in, or hasn't by our employee yet as dangerous and unsightly, but it's causing a lot of stir, and I talked to some more people today in the Salt Springs area. They can't understand why it's not dangerous, at least unsightly, if not dangerous and unsightly. And something's gonna have to happen soon before we have a revolt there. So they closed one of the 2 churches in Salt Springs. Anybody that knows the 2 churches across the road from each other. So the Presbyterian one closed about 3 years ago. So it was sold by the head church in Toronto or whatever, and the person that bought it has decided that it perhaps should have a lot of old junk cars and trucks on it. So the yard is full of old junk cars and trucks. And to add insult to injury, there's a cemetery in that yard, that church yard. And I didn't know you could sell a cemetery, but apparently it was sold to the same gentleman. And so it has an old school bus in there, full of junk right to the top, and sitting parallel to the graveyard, so you can't even see the graveyard anymore if anybody come in there to look for it. And I visited and talked to the gentleman half a dozen times, and he keeps telling me he's moving them. Oh, no, I'm not gonna leave them there, he's moving them, but nothing ever happens. And so I've asked our CAO about our new plan that just became active a few weeks ago, you know, because that doesn't allow that type of thing in rural general, which is what that's listed as. But we haven't been able to get that declared unsightly, yet everybody in the community certainly sees it as unsightly, both from the graveyard point of view and from the church point of view. And there are other problems there too, but right now I'm concentrating on trying to get those vehicles out of there, and I'm not making any headway. So I'm gonna eventually, you know, have to look at our lawyer and our plan and see if we can do something there. But that's why that one's not on the list, because we haven't been able to have it declared dangerous and unsightly, even though everybody in the community thinks it is. So I just wanted to bring it up because of that. It reminded me when Councillor Bailey brought it up, there's nothing there. Well, that's the reason that one's not there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Warden. Just on that, Brian just received a text from Evan Hale, and he said it should be on a report. He said he's gonna look into it tomorrow, but there should be unsightlies there, so he is gonna look into that. Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing, is that I had one in Murray Lane there in Hillside that's been on for 2.5 years, and nothing seems to be being done with it, so maybe it'll be on the report when we get her. Thank you.
Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Warden Parker there talked about the church in Salt Springs. That's in my district. There's a lot of people very upset there, and that, as far as I'm concerned, is unsightly premises. But I don't know what we got to get a bylaw officer to do to declare that unsightly. But until we get that, we can't get those vehicles out of there. But we have problems there too. There's a lady trying to live in the church there, and it's causing problems with all the local people all around that area. There's a local elementary school just across Trans-Canada, no distance away, and it's a major issue in my district. So we're trying to do something about it. But we got to get those vehicles out of there to be a start. But in order to get that, we need unsightly premises. I haven't heard on that. I haven't talked to Evan in the last week here, but it's a major problem. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Parker. Is there anybody else? Seeing none, we'll move on to, there's no business items that require action. We'll move on to deferred business, sanitary sewer lateral charges. Logan, would you want to speak on that?
Yeah, it's identified in my report as well, item 13. We're still working on it. We got some information from other municipalities. We just need to finalize that and summarize it. I would expect that we'll have that ready for our next meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next, is there any motions of reconsideration? Not seeing any. Community announcements. Is there any community announcements? Councillor Bowles? Jeez, she's lighting up here like a Christmas tree. Yeah.
Yeah, I was brought up at last meeting there, my constituents are asking about the tax sale. What is going on with the tax sale? Can anybody say?
Ron?
Yeah, we should be in a position to advertise it this week. I got the rough draft of the ad done, so we should be soon in a position to advertise it. So I just got to verify some data in it, and we should be good to go.
Is that going to be advertised on our website?
Yeah, we'll just use our website.
Just
I
our
think
website.
is
Okay.
what we'll do.
Well, I'm asking for an in-camera session if that's the way it has to be, because this is just becoming a real laughable situation in my community, and people are they're upset that you know, we've been told. So I don't know if we have to go in camera for it. I was told that we do. If we do, I'm just requesting for an in-camera meeting.
Point of order? Yeah, that's on an agenda item, right? This is community announcements, so. Well, we have a process to follow, and so we gotta follow our process. Okay, next is Councillor McDonald.
The Harvest Festival in Lismore Community Center, September 27th, 2 to 4 p.m. Features antique vehicle show, local vendors, raffles and draws, multiple classes of largest pumpkin, odd-shaped potatoes, and a whole bunch of things, 2 to 4 on September 27th. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McDonald. Next is Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's not really a community announcement. It sort of came up under last month. Councillor Dewar brought it up, and it's kind of a good news thing, but I just wanted to give it this information for everybody around the table here. There's a lady up in White Hill who's having major problems with her telephone not working properly at all, so I took somebody's advice here and put a CRTC complaint in. It's quite a lengthy thing, about 21 pages and stuff, but anyway, eventually they were happy and they said they accept the complaint, and shortly after accepting the complaint, they said Bell Alliant, the company that we're dealing with, had 20 days to respond. And I said, okay, we'll see what happens. Well, within 10 days, they sent a repairman out, dug up the wires, fixed the wires, got rid of the big loud buzzing in the lady's phone. Like, this lady's quite elderly. She needs that phone in case of emergency, and they fixed it. And super nice. But that was done within 10 days. But that was because it went through that CRTC. Somebody around this table, might have been Councillor Thompson or Councillor Darla down there. And but yeah, I didn't. How big a deal? It's just 21 pages. You just keep flipping pages on the computer, flip, and then I had to get her permission and get that sent off to them. And shortly after that, they had 20 days, and they said they got to contact you. You got to work with them. And sure enough, they contacted me, and we got the problem solved. All they had to do was send out a repairman to begin with, and they said originally the lady said, "Well, we'll send somebody out for $79," and I said, "Well, she doesn't want to pay for that up front." And the lady told me, she said that should have never happened. That they should have sent a repairman, but saying we're going to charge you $79 just to show up. So anyway, that resolved the problem. But if anybody has that might be the way to go. It's a bit of a hassle, but it got it done, and the problem's solved. Now our phone's clear as a bell. So I just want to let everybody know around the table. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, that is great news. Thank you, Councillor Parker. Warden Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So yesterday was the Cherry Fox Run here in Pictou, and I understand one in Bridgeville, and the lady at the exhibition told me there's also one in another community way down east. Which one was it?
Push.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I didn't know. Green means go and red means stop. I have trouble with that. But Garden of Eden, I think it was, and she said, well, we don't have a registered run, but we go out and we walk around the building a few times and we throw our money in a pot, and that's what counts, is people taking part. Whether it's official or not isn't a big deal. But I visited over 200 homes, and in the end I had just a little over $5,000, $5,200. And the Pictou run as a total had over $20,000. So if you take a small county, part of the county, and add Bridgeville and whatever else to it, that's quite a bit of money that goes into the bigger pot, and it all goes to cancer research. I think the majority of it, they pride themselves on the fact that very little goes to administration, about 5%. I think where a lot of times a third of it goes to administration. But I did want to tell one brief story, sad story, but it pushed me on. So a neighbor 5 doors down, 5 driveways down, I guess, in the country. I went there and I said, is John home? This young fellow came to the veranda. No, Dad's in the hospital fighting for his life. And so I hadn't heard what happened. Maybe he's in an accident or whatever. He said he was fighting pancreatic cancer, which is about as bad as you can get. And 2 days later, I heard that from another neighbor that visited him that poor Johnny's in palliative care. He's not doing good. 2 days later, he was gone. And that's how quickly it can happen with pancreatic cancer in particular. So, you know, left there is his wife and 2 young people in their early 20s. And Dad's gone, or her husband's gone. So that pushed me that maybe I just need to go a little harder and to raise as much as you can. I have never seen in the years I've been doing this, but my wife says it's 29 years, I gave up counting, but as much cancer around as what there is right now. Young people, middle-aged people, it doesn't matter. So I want to thank everybody in this room that helped out, and their employees, counselors, whatever. It takes everybody to raise the money. That's the only answer we'll ever get is through research. And people ask me, oh, well, is it getting anywhere, 45 years? Well, people are living a lot longer with cancer, not poor John, but a lot of people are living a lot longer with cancer. So again, thank you to each one of you.
Okay. Just on that, just want to say, the car show at the East Pictou Rural Fair was in memory of Sandy Rhino, who passed away due to cancer. And this year we gave, I forget the exact amount, it was $1,200 or $1,400 to a 19-year-old that's in stage 4 cancer. So it hits all ages. So okay, next is Councillor Dorr.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, it's not community announcement, it's a thank you for the communities and the money that's coming from this council. A week ago, Saturday, Councillor Thompson and myself got to attend a tremendously successful time in the Springville ball field, and now it's called the Bob McLean ball field. Bob was one of our very first volunteers recognized by this council. I'm sorry it took that many years to get everything done, but things were certainly done right the other day. And we had a terrific crowd, and Councillor Thompson spoke, and I got to speak, and all the food was free, and all the entertainment was free because of that money that we're giving out every year, the last few years, the $1,500 or whatever, and it went towards that. And I would say at some point during the afternoon, there was likely close to 200 there altogether, from the beginning to the end. So that was a success story that I want to pass around the council room. And the other one was yesterday in Hopewell at Iona Park. It was the same kind of deal. We had music in the park in the afternoon. We had the best part of, well, we had 100 people or so there. They stayed from 2 o'clock till 5 o'clock listening to music and another free barbecue. Appreciation afternoon for all the volunteers, and just something nice. Like yesterday afternoon, how often would you think on the 14th of September would be as nice as yesterday afternoon? It was just beautiful for people sitting out, and they stayed. And that's we had Heather Cameron and Kenny Stewart played, and they played and sang, and it was just a wonderful afternoon. And 500 of that money that I received went to that, and there was no charge, there was no bucket or nothing for looking for donations. It was a thank you, and I told them that I was only the middleman getting this to pass out to the people, right? It's a thank you, and not just to them particularly, but a thank you to everybody for coming to these things and making them a success. And if we keep doing this, things are building up a little again, because we had 3 flat years. And you go to Thorburn, like they sold out for the dance, the horse pull, everything was a success, like a real success. Maybe better than the original this year, I would say. Wouldn't you say, Councillor Palmer? There was definitely,
we had turnouts like we had in the past.
yeah,
Yeah.
like terrific. And that's because the county's there to be able to help out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Dorr. Councillor Thompson.
Thank you. Just on this Springville event, it was a nice day, and it was kind of neat watching people gather there. That it was like an old home week out in Springville, and there was no cell phones out because there's no cell coverage there, and so nobody was texting or on their phone on Facebook. They were all talking to one another. And I think that's probably one of the last times I've ever going to experience something like that. It was so genuine, and it's what we were used to when we were growing up. Like you when you went somewhere, you met your neighbors and you asked them how they're doing, and asked about their kids and grandkids and all that other stuff. Lots of excitement. I can say that this community connectivity grant, it's $1,500 per district. I divvied up, I give 3 organizations, I don't give it, it's from the municipality, but $500 each. And that $500, like they make that stretch, the volunteers make it stretch, but it's incredible to see how a grant policy as modest as this. It's only an $18,000 budget line for all 12 districts. It's amazing how it when you have something with intent, and the intent is for people to get together, that money is well spent. And Churchville's one of the other recipients of some of our connectivity grant money, and they're actually hosting. It's a pretty quiet little group, but they're trying, and I'm curious to see how they'll do over the winter months, because they're part of our net zero project, so they're hopefully going to have that hall opened past the season of the heating season. And they're tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. They're starting a monthly event. I think it's monthly right now, where they're going to have a community breakfast for people to drop in. It's from 8 o'clock till 9:30, I believe, is what Arlene McGregor. It's just a light lunch or light breakfast. It's muffins and coffee and tea. So after you take the kids to school, Chester, you can sneak out to Churchville and have a bite to eat. But this money here, like it's $1,500 per district. It's like it goes a long way. So it's something that we should pay close attention to. Thank you.
Just on that, I just want to say, you wouldn't have met a finer man than Bob McLean, or a harder working volunteer. He was tremendous. It's nice to see that the facility's named after him. He put so much time and effort in that field, and other organizations, that it's great to see him being honored. So. Warden Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I certainly want to add my voice to the $1,500 and the value. That was an idea that came out of one of the, not much different than the old mics, you better talk into it. But that was one of the ideas that came out of one of our strategizing sessions at one time. And I remember the reasoning was that too many people are locked in their own homes all the time, and their loneliness is a terrible thing. And a lot of our people suffer from it and don't even know that's what it is. But the idea was to get more people out, like Councillor Thompson said, just saying hello to each other and catching up with old news and whatnot. And so I think it's a great thing, and I do too, divvy mine up between the different areas, and $500 even go a long ways. buying some food, so you don't have to charge anything for people to get in is a big deal. So everybody can go. If you're, even $5 sometimes maybe is a bit much, and somebody says, well, I better not go. So I think that's worked out very well, and I'm pleased to hear the reports on that. The other thing I wanted to mention was, I don't know, maybe Darla can update us, you know, has everybody chosen sites for these signs? Because now that they're officially unveiled, we want to get them up and out there as soon as we can before the snow flies. And I know I went out today to put a couple stakes in the ground so the fellows would know where to put them, and I haven't found my mall yet, so I'm still looking. But yeah, I think it's important that everybody, and maybe Councillor McKeel has an update on how that's going, or Adam, I don't know. Adam may have something by the sound of things.
Turn your mic off. Warden
Oh,
Fire.
turn mine off, sorry.
Yeah, so I've got a few people who've gotten in touch with me, and but if you haven't yet, just let me know. I've got a list here of locations, and if you're able to put up yourself, great. But if not, our public works team can help get those put up.
Okay. Okay, is that it, Warden Parker?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, before we adjourn the meeting, I'd just like to say, I think this new system's working well. There's gonna be some growing pains with it, but as far as chairing a meeting, I find it a lot easier. Instead of looking around for hands and things like that, it pops up on the screen and puts you in the waiting mode if somebody's speaking. So I think this is gonna be great for us. And like I said, there might be a few little growing pains. You have to remember to turn off your mic after you finish speaking. But I think it's, and you get to speak into your mic, so keep it down close to your mouth. Anyway, seeing nothing further, I'll adjourn the meeting.